Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, AKA the Internet's most passionate wine program. And we are on location at the Napa Valley Grill at the Paramus Garden State Center. You know, this is what I love about Jersey, an unbelievable wine restaurant in the middle of the mall. Let's clap it up, Jersey folks. Yes. It is good. It is great, Mott, to do a live show from Jersey. We've done Virginia and California and all that bullcrap. There is no vibe like the Dirty Jers, and we're gonna rock this out right now. We've got that's actually 8. We've got 4 California wines today, ranging in prices, 2 reds, 2 whites. So Mott, let's get right into it. You ready to zoom in? We're gonna start with the Round Hill Oak Free. So no oak monster in this wine, 2007 Chardonnay, around a $11 US wine. Now, Mott, you remember number 11 was Kellen Clemens? We've kind of forgot about him now that we have Brett Favre. We don't talk about him that much, do we? So let's see what's going on here. Obviously, unoaked Chardonnay is all the rage. A lot of people have been over-oaked. Too much oak monster, too much butter, too much cream. And people are looking for crisper, more food-friendly white wines these days. And that's why we've seen an explosion of these unoaked Chardonnays. Round Hill I've never had before. We'll see what's going on. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Good fruit coming through. I get a little bit of a kiwi component that's quite nice, which I like quite a bit. There's a little bit of like a candied apple component. Do you remember that candy, Mott, that was like the apple juice in a carton? It was like shredded up little pieces of gum. I get a little bit of that smell coming through on this nose, which is quite nice. Let's give it a whirl. Good acidity, which I like quite a bit in this wine. Very, very clean on the palate. Let me give you one more shot. Ripping pear flavors on the mid-palate, which I like quite a bit. Sharp acidity on the back end, which makes it a far more food-friendly white wine than a lot of other Chardonnays. Medium to full-bodied, solid stuff. Very nice long finish. I'm actually quite surprised with the finish. A little Apple Jacks in my mouth right now, and I like it. At the end of the day, I think that this is a solid bottle of Chardonnay. $11 if you're not looking for that over-oaked, over-rich Chardonnay that so many people have out there. To me, it's got probably 87, 88 points written all over it, and that's a very fair price. Let's go 88 points, mainly because I love Altoon. So we're gonna go 88 points in this wine, $11, and in my opinion, one of the better unoaked Chardonnays from California I've approached in the $10, $15 range. For everybody that's here, I think it's in the back corner of that room. I think you should try it. I'm always impressed when you can have a Chardonnay that's crisp and clean and still has a little flavor and isn't so thin and tastes like water. So Round Hill, solid start to this show. I'm pretty excited, Mott. Not bad at all. Let's give it a rinse. Let's go to the next wine. Now this is a winery I have a lot of respect for. Probably Floral Springs more than any other winery. In the late 90s, were making some of the best values in the world. To me, Trilogy was one of the great red wines. What we have in front of us is the 2006 Napa Chard from Flora Springs. This wine rolls in at 21 US bones. Let's give it a pour, and let's give it a sniffy sniff. Now this nose comes across a little stinky, a little dorm room action. I do get a little sweaty sock after playing a little basketball for a little bit on the nose. Wow, it has a little stinkified action, which I kind of like. I mean, it's giving it a little bit more charisma than most Chardonnays I come across. I get a little pear as well on this nose. I also get a sugarcane component, which I like quite a bit. Very powerful nose, aromatically. If you leave tonight with anything, I hope more people out there, Jersey and all the 80 to 90,000 Vayniacs watching this episode, smell your wines. The bouquet is such a major factor. It's almost like the previews in a movie. If you miss them, I'm crushed. So it brings something to the table. Way too many people just pop and pour. No patience. Shame on you. Let's give it a little more sniffy sniff. I like that. Let's give it a whirl. Good richness. I get a little bit of a creamy oak component, which I like. Very traditional in its Chardonnay approach. Good length, good body. Nice roundness. A little boring, and that hurts my feelings, especially if I'm dropping down 21 US dollars. But solid stuff. At the end of the day, very different than the Round Hill. Obviously a lot more body, has a little more girth, little love handles. And who doesn't love a little love handles? I like it, I need it, I want to squeeze it. That being said, it's also a little dull on the finish. And the finish is long, it's rich, but it's maybe missing a little bit of the charisma that I'm looking for if I'm gonna drop a $20 bone or higher. All in all, a solid Chardonnay with good mid-palate transition to the finish, which is very impressive, especially for a lot of California Chards that miss that mid-palate component. But at the end of the day, missing the charisma and the explosion that I'm looking for in most Chardonnays like this, and I feel like there's some white Burgundy counterpoints to this wine that I would like better. That being said, I do like it a little bit better than the Round Hill. I'm gonna go 89 points. That being said, at 21 bucks, 89 points for my palate, and I don't want anybody listening to my palate, it's just my palate, but for me, this would probably be a pass with 6 or 7 Z's, because I just think there would be other things I'd rather spend my 20 bucks on. Let's move on. Trinchero, Pinot Noir from Napa Valley, established in 1948. 2006 vintage, 14 US dollar Pinot Noir. You know I always like number 14 because that's Richard Todd's number, so you know I like that. 14 US bones on the Trinchero Pinot. Fair price for Pinot Noir, as we all know. Not that many people are drinking Pinot, then Hollywood told us. Now we all drink Pinot. Let's give it a whirl, a sniff, and a taste and see what's going on here. By the way, let me mention here at the Napa Valley Grill that we have had an unbelievable tasting before this taping. Tons of great wines, 96 amazing wines, great food. Let's clap it up for the Napa Valley Grill because it's a beautiful event. I know everybody's having a good time. Listen, you've got to drink 96 wines at least when the Dow goes down 500 points every single day. We need this vino. All right, let's give it a sniffy sniff. I get some nice sour cherry components on this Pinot Noir, which I like quite a bit right off the bat. I also get a little bit of like a road brush, you know, like you pull off and take a pee and you smell the ground. A little like side of the road action coming through, which I like quite a bit actually. Little sticks, a little moss, a little rock. It's got a little earthiness that I don't mind. Mix that with the cherries and a little creaminess and you've got your bouquet, which is quite solid. Let's give this wine a whirl. Really firm tannins. Caught off guard, am I? I just talked like Yoda, didn't I? Caught off guard, am I? Quite a bit of tannin structure on the back end of this Pinot Noir, and very bitter tannins, which I think are going to turn off a lot of new drinkers. Now, this wine was just popped and poured. These wines did not open long enough, and they clearly could use some decanting, and 2006 is very young for Pinot, but this is very sharp tannins on the back end for a Pinot Noir. Let me give it one more shot. I appreciate the cherry cola component that I get on the back end, which I like quite a bit. But at the end of the day, I can't get off the bitterness. And the bitterness is serious. To me, this is the kind of wine that you want to put away for 3 to 4 years in a cellar and really see evolve. Because at this point, it's just not good in my mouth. And that makes me sad. I'm going to score this wine 78 points. And I feel really bad because I can see the guy who represents it right there. And he's a lovely man. A lovely, lovely man. But at the end of the day, Vaynerchuks, I've got to do this for you, and this is just not a wine I can get excited about. So I'm going to have to give it a pass. Let's move on. Let's give it a little bit of a rinse. Now, Twomey, 2004 Merlot from the Napa Valley. Twomey is a silver oak project. It comes from the people that do bring you silver oak. This wine is 68 US bones. 2 problems. 1, the economy blows. 2, Kevin Mawai wears number 68, and he turned on the Jets and went to the Titans. So I'm a little bit down. I know we cut him, but there was a reason. I'll explain it later on another show. But that being said, this has consistently, for the last 5 or 6 vintages, in my opinion, been one of the 5 to 10 best California Merlots on the market. Is it a little pricey? Yes. Is that the suggested retail price? Yes. So you could probably find it in the 50s around the US. It has gorgeous color right off the bat. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. And this is what I love about this wine. There's an underlining, like, dusty chocolate peppermint component about this wine on the nose. I get a very minty, chocolatey kind of thing going on. And then imagine just putting a whole lot of chalk dust on top of that. I love this nose. It's very different, but you've got to know your own palate. Because if you don't like chocolate, mint, or dust, you're probably not going to like this. I'm going to get one more smell. I get a very gorgeous black cherry component coming through on this wine as well. Let's give it a whirl. Big boy, feels like somebody punched me in my mouth, and I liked it. Lots of fruit, a absolute fruit bomb, but not over the top. Very concentrated and focused flavors. I get black cherry, I get tar. And I'm talking about when you were little and the tar bubbles popped and this, started coming up in the summer and you pressed them. You pressed them and I licked it. It was delicious. So tar, black cherry, I get a little bit of residual hot jam, like hot cherry jam, which I like. Great long finish. I'm still yapping and I'm still tasting and it's delicious. This has great length. It's probably not hurting that it's an 04, so it's got a little age to it. It's rounded. It's like a classy woman. Always better than a young 18-year-old floozy. I'm telling you. I promise. There we go. So, great richness, great roundness, great complexity. I like this Twomey Merlot. I'm going to go 92 plus on this. And in the 50s, I think this rivals a lot of Pomerols and other Merlot-based wines out there in the world that don't bring this much structure. I'm a fan of this wine. I've been a big critic of a lot of Silver Oak wines, so this is kind of fun for me to see how much I do like this. And I think the length is tremendous. I see this with Rack of Lamb. I see this as a 7 to 10 year wine in your cellar. And I see this as something you can pop and enjoy right now. Question of the day. One, when are you going to bring your ass to the Napa Valley Grill? Because these peeps are awesome. Tell them you're my friend. I heard you get a free dinner. Maybe not, but something maybe. Number two, question of the day. What is your favorite restaurant these days? Mom, we need some data. I need to figure out what people like. You, with a little bit of me and awesome dirty jurors people like this, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.